oh so very happy Sunday to all of you, and welcome into the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. Otis Kirk, and I'm Jacob Morris. And Otis, I don't know if we have done this under happier circumstances. Usually we're talking about everything that's gone wrong, frustrations, all the above, and quite frankly, a cathartic win for Arkansas fans last night for the first time since 1999. Arkansas takes down a top 5 opponent at home. The Hogs take down number 4 Tennessee 19-14. What were just your instant reactions watching that? I saw you in the press box before. I know we were talking a little bit about the game. Watching that go down, what was going through your head?
I didn't, man. In preseason, when I picked 8-4, I picked Arkansas to beat Tennessee. But this week, I picked Tennessee to win. I just felt like Tennessee probably was a better team. But man, I have been one thing that I think we've all said, not just me, but one thing I've made clear all season: if Arkansas played a clean game, I think they could beat anybody in the country, and they proved that last night. They had a clean game, no turnovers, a few penalties, but not excessive, and but main thing, just no turnovers. And the way they won that, losing Taylor Green and then Malachi. I don't know if anybody before the game predicted Malachi Singleton and Waylon Russell would be heroes, and they were all heroes, but those two kids really saved the day last night. Malachi has not played much. See, there was a lot of gripes about Arkansas playing UAPB, but I really think, Jacob, that playing that game and getting Malachi 2 or 3 series, I think it gave him some confidence, and it was better than throwing him in last night with just that one series at Auburn. He had 2 series there, or 3, whatever it was, to get confidence in the season opener. So there's benefit to playing a game like that and getting everybody on the roster some playing time and a little bit of experience. And I really was impressed with the. I thought Malachi was pretty nervous at first, as anyone would be. Yeah, he bobbled us. But, man, I told Jerry, I'm sitting there in the press box, and I said, if they fake that ball to the running back and Malachi pulls it out, he's going to circle around the end. And that's exactly what he did. You can just see it coming, and Kevin knows I've got this segment. I don't know why he's calling Kevin McPherson. I'm going to call him when he's doing his segment. But, I felt like Arkansas really, everybody stepped up last night. The offensive line did better. But that defense, Jake, that's something that probably we don't talk about enough on here, or at least me. I know y'all do. But me, I kind of focus on offense: Bobby Petrino, Taylor Green, Jaquindon, Andrew, Luke. But man, every week it seems like Coach T. Will just has those guys ready to play. I mean, for the longest last night, Tennessee had 19 yards of total offense,
Crazy.
Incredible, man. And they copied some stuff that OU did, the 3-man rush and stuff. But I thought it was a pretty impressive win. And obviously, I think, it's going to go down and maybe ignite this team. I'm a firm believer if they play like a clean game like they played last night, they can beat anybody in the country. Somebody asked me this morning, does that include Texas? Yeah, it includes Texas. I'm not saying if they play a clean game, they will beat Texas, but I'm saying they can. But it'll take a clean game, and they may play a clean game and still lose, but that's on down the road. We don't even know who's going to be playing that Texas game. I mean, so that's too far down the road. But by the way, I did pick in preseason to Arkansas to lose to Texas and be the first time out of a bye week that Sam Pittman's lost. I did have them beating LSU, and I will have them in the picks we do later on about LSU. I think Arkansas will beat LSU. I think they're a better football team than LSU. But it was a good game, and it just kind of unlikely heroes to a degree, but that's good. That's what you need, because you're not going to go through the season with just every star player not getting hurt. And man, Malachi. It's big at Braylon, but Braylon's got to play quite a bit, But, man, Malachi stepping up last night was huge. That was just big. I mean, but, boy, Braylon Russell, man, I mean, you've got to get him more carries. I wish he'd got some against Oklahoma State. But in all honesty, you and I have talked about this. We talked about it last night. I think Arkansas is 2 plays away from being undefeated, Jacob. I mean, any one of those, you and I went over 1 million plays against Oklahoma State. they take away one of those, just a missed field goal, a fumble on the punt, anything. Take one of those away, and they win. I really believe that if they hadn't fumbled at the 10-yard line, I think they would have beaten A&M. I thought that was the killer in that game, the fumble at the Arkansas 10. But regardless of that, they're 4-2, and they got a chance. This is a good football team. I've said that all along. I know some people want to argue that, but well, no, there's no buts to it. This is a good football team. I don't know how many games they'll win, just like I've told everybody else. Nobody else knows, but I do think they've got a really good chance to win a. And heck, I mean, Missouri's not as good as I'm not going to say as we thought, as I thought, Jake. Yeah. Going in, right now, I had Arkansas 4-2 at this point of the season. In the two games I had them losing was Texas and Missouri later on. And I'm not sure they're going to lose to Missouri. I mean, they've got a chance to beat Missouri. Missouri got exposed a little bit yesterday. They've got a soft schedule. They're going to win a lot of games simply because of that schedule. But they could have lost to Vanderbilt, and they could have lost to Boston College. And they've still got Alabama. They've got Oklahoma. Of course, I'm not sold on Oklahoma either. So we'll see. But I think this is going to be a very good season for Arkansas. Fans need to enjoy it, man. I mean, I hear people all the time yesterday even talking about the last 2 years. The last 2 years are gone. They're history, man. Enjoy the season. Life's too short to go through mad and griping about last. This is a different football team. They've got 55 new players. I think 40-something are scholarship players. Well, I know 40-something are scholarship players, but this is not even the same team that lost games last year. And they won a close game last night, showing that they can. They won a one-score game, and that's been Achilles heel for Sam. And I know he made a comment last night. We could write that, but it is what it is. They have lost a lot of one-score games. But we also said, in fairness, they've got to win some of those, because they're going to be a lot of one-score games in the SEC. Very seldom goes to even that Auburn team that went undefeated. I think they had 8 games that was decided by one score or less in that season, and they won them all. You may not win them all, but you've got to win close games. And I think Arkansas is figuring out how to do that. And the best thing maybe of all of it, Jacob, we hadn't even touched on, they won at home. Remember what a disaster Fayetteville was last year? In the UAB game this year, we're thinking, here we go again. The biggest thing, the plus, is Arkansas won in Razorback State. And another plus is they only leave that stadium twice. The rest of one of it's to Mississippi State. And I don't think it matters where they play Mississippi State. If they play like they're capable, they're going to beat Mississippi State. And then they play at Missouri. And we'll see what happens there. But I think Arkansas could win both those road games. And they've got some tough home games, but that's why you're in the SEC. It's going to be tough. But I think the toughest game remaining is Texas, but they're all tough. LSU will be tough, but I do think Arkansas will win it. I really do, man. I'm not just saying that either. I've been a believer in this football team all season. I just really believe it's going to be a good football. I just really believe they've got a really good football team.
Yeah, Sam talked about it a lot, obviously, post-game, but I think it was so big from the standpoint that it's just finally proof of concept, because you and I, they're 2 plays away from being undefeated all we want, right? And that's factually true, it is, but eventually you have to win the football games, and that's why so many fans were so frustrated, and rightfully so. And so the team believed, but to go out there and play like they did, we heard Sam say it over and over again, if this team plays clean, we can beat anybody. That sounds great. That's a great soundbite until you do it, and they showed that they could do it. And I was just so impressed with the resolve of the team, because I'll be honest, when they went down 14-3, it's over. I said, that's
it. Here we go again.
They let them get away, so they're not going to be able to score. And I was so impressed with the way they fought back. And you hit a lot of what impressed me from the standpoint also. I mean, just what can you say about Braylon Russell in that moment, right? Because Malachi was impressive from the standpoint that he runs the touchdown in and all of that, but you touched on it, man, he was nervous when he got in there. He bobbled his first 3 snaps. He put one on the ground. He had happy feet back there. You can't blame him. You come in cold off the bench and you're asked to do that. I don't blame Malachi for that, but that Braylon run to get them down within field goal range, then ultimately Tennessee decides just to let him in. That was unbelievable. And then as I kind of sit here the next day thinking about it, you talked about this as well. My other big takeaway is, man, Travis Williams just made himself a whole lot of money as a future head coach, because that was an unbelievable defensive performance. You talk about a Tennessee offense that was averaging over 50 points per game, and Sam talked about it afterwards. Like you said, they watched OU and just said, we can't get beat over the top. no big plays. They just blanketed the field with DBs, no big plays, made him throw side to side. It was a really impressive defensive performance. And I had a lot of faith in the Arkansas defense, but if you told me Arkansas was going to score 19 points before the game, I would have said, well, they're going to lose by double digits. It is what it is, because I didn't think you could hold Tennessee under 30. It was just really impressive from the defense.
I had the game 31-21. So I actually had 21 points and lose it by double digits. So, I'd have been the same way. If you told me they're going to score 19, I'd said, well, they're going to be even more. But I think one thing that helped Malachi, as crazy as this may sound, it may be completely false, but I think Braylon runs. I think it got Malachi pumped, and I think hey man, look what he's doing. And I think it relaxed Malachi. Yeah. In fact, he had a tailback he could hand the ball to, and he's rolling off chunks of yardage. And I think it helped settle Malachi down. And then he got involved. You know, he seemed like a lot more confident after those runs. And then when he pulled that ball out, it didn't seem like any doubt he was going to score. I mean, he fakes the handoff to Braylon. Braylon takes about 3 steps and does like this touchdown. You know, he was already celebrating way before Malachi even got in there. So, yeah, I feel like that Braylon, for a true freshman, really played a big role.
In that spot, yeah.
Man, I'm proud of both those. I'm proud of the entire team, but I'm really proud of those two kids. Because it was you hit on this. It was 14-3. They're facing adversity.
Yeah.
They lose arguably their best offensive player, Taylor Green. I mean, you make a case for that. You lose your heart and soul there with the quarterback, and you've got all kinds of adversity. And you think, here we go again, and yet they found a way to win. I think this game will pay dividends way down the road. I think this game gives them confidence that they can do a lot of things. And I'm going to tell you, right now, Sam may have the best set of coordinators in the SEC, and Bobby Petrino and Travis Williams. Man. Both those guys are great. They're doing their job, and I'm proud he got to bring Bobby back and give Bobby a chance to – he didn't have to redeem himself for me, but I guess to some point he felt like he needed to. But I mean, if he was the first person that ever made a mistake, it'd be something. But he made a mistake. So what? I mean, we all make them. So, but I'm really proud Bobby got a chance to redeem, and it just seems like T Will. It just gets better every week. Yeah. He is, and that staff. And I think it's huge too that, in fairness to Travis, he kept his entire defensive staff last year. And I think that you can't underestimate, the better word, that, because I think, Deke Adams has settled in on the defensive line. Then that secondary, they haven't had Jalen Braxton. People don't realize that. They haven't had the best quarterback on the football team since Oklahoma State. And yet they're finding ways to get it done. They're not getting killed at corner. I mean, they recruited well. They've got James Singletary, Marquise Robinson, Keon. I mean, they've got some good corners, but they haven't had their best one since Oklahoma State. And so they faced adversity and still finding ways to win. And if I'd been last year, I hate to say this, and I know just earlier I said forget last year, but I think if they'd got down 14-3 last year, it would have been over with. And I don't think there's any doubt. And or even the last 2 years, if they'd got down 14-3, your starting quarterback is out there. I mean, we saw what happened last year when KJ would get hurt and go. It was a disaster, and that's not the case this year. And I'm really proud of them. They exceeded what a lot of people thought they could do, beating Tennessee. I'm not surprised they won. I know I picked Tennessee in the seasonal picks, but in preseason I had Arkansas. But Tennessee, I've said all along, Tennessee was the one team that I thought was a lot better than I thought they were. Missouri may be the one team that's not as good as I thought they were. LSU, Texas, Mississippi State, and probably leaving someone else out. They're about what I thought they were, Jacob. I knew Texas was going to be great. I knew. Ole Miss, yeah, and Ole Miss. They're about what I thought they would be. I think Arkansas could take. Kiffin's never won in Fayetteville. And I think Arkansas's got a good chance to beat them up here. And it was impressive how those recruits there last night. They got to see that, and they were impressed. And I talked to Blake Cherry this morning, and, I mean, he was wowed by it, And this is a kid that I talked to him about, he committed to Arkansas, 6'6", 295-pound offensive tackle out of Wasso, really high 3-star. And he committed to Arkansas when the rumors of Sam Pittman, hot seat, probably wouldn't make it through the seat. And he had faith in Arkansas and Mateus and Pittman to commit. And, so I think it was big. Grayson Wilson, in attendance, kid that stuck with Arkansas early and gotten offers, hasn't even put them out there on social media because he doesn't care because he's committed to Arkansas. Those offers mean nothing to him. He's gotten some very good quality offers since he committed to Arkansas, and he hasn't even advertised them, Jacob. I mean, that's the type of kid he is.
Yeah, that's a good segue to talk recruiting here. I mean, you can't paint a better picture as a recruiting spot for Arkansas, right? You know, you're primetime television, you're on ABC, it's a stripe out, the stadium's packed, and you don't get blown off the field. You don't get beat. Instead, you beat the number 4 team in the country. That is an incredible boost to recruiting for the recruits that were in attendance, but also ones that are watching as well. It's just something that Arkansas needed to have and something that's only going to kind of push this recruiting car forward here.
Yeah, Blake, he had Friday was his birthday, and he played. Watso is 5-0. They beat Texas, the Tulsa Union. They've beaten Jinx, and I was actually watching the Union game on TV Friday night, and I was waiting for the Lakers to come on, so I stayed home. But I watched Tulsa Union and Watso play, and I didn't know at the time it was Blake's birthday, but he lined up at tight end from offensive tackle, and they threw him a touchdown pass, and Blake said the funniest thing about it was after he scored, the student section or the fans started singing happy birthday to him at the game. And so I've got a story on Pig Trail Nation, Hogville, if anybody wants to read. It's a short story, but Blake called me this morning. He was pretty excited about the win, and we talked for a couple of 3 minutes. Actually, I was going to have him on here, but he's like a lot of these kids. He's got a film study and stuff with the team. Right now, it's hard to get kids on here because we did that with Kendrick last 2 weeks ago. The Fayetteville's deal, he had to cut out early to go to a team, and that's the same thing with Blake. They've got film study and stuff this afternoon. So, but Blake wanted to make sure I knew that, and but just let me know that. But he told me about the birthday and singing happy birthday. He was pretty pumped. I told him, I said, man, I was in Fayetteville when Tretola scored that touchdown. And, for him to get that one, it was huge. But he's 6'6", 295 pounds. I'm telling you, they beat some good schools to get him. And the good thing about him being from Owasso, Oklahoma Tennessee beat Oklahoma just 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And then he goes and watches Arkansas beat the team that OU couldn't beat. And so I think that helps on kids like him. And Owasso's got some other players that Arkansas is recruiting, and they got some young player that recently from Pine Bluff that's going to be a good ball player. He's already starting for them. So Arkansas is going to get there. And then, I was going to tell you about Grayson Wilson. I'm sorry, Tyler Wilson. I'm going back to Pat. Grayson moved to Conway from Central Arkansas Christian this year. They were up on North Little Rock 63-0 at halftime, Jacob. 63. They only won 63-7, but they didn't. So they shut it down at half. But yeah, 63-0 at halftime. And I'm going to tell you, I'm sure North Little Rock has slipped some, but that used to be a really good program. And I'm sure they've slipped, but I don't care if you slipped or what. 63 points in a high school game and a half is incredible. Grayson's a very good quarterback. The thing about him, it impresses me more than anything. He got that offer to Arkansas. He waited a while and then he committed. But, and I know I said this earlier, but I don't think people realize how big it is for a kid like him to get offers and not report them. In this day and age, look at me. And, hey, I'd probably be the same way if I was a kid. I'd be, look at me. But, Jason, and I asked him why you're not putting them out there, Grace. At least put the offers out there. He said, because I'm committed to Arkansas. He said, I'm not into recruiting. I'm committed. He said, commitment means I'm committed. And, that's breath of fresh air, to be honest with you, Jacob. It really is in this day. But he's good. He'll be here a semester. But he's helping Conway to an undefeated season so far. They beat Bentonville pretty handily earlier in the year. And they're going to be in the play. They're going to be at the end. They're in the hunt for a state title there at the end. I know Brian and Fayetteville and some of these teams got something to say about that. But it's going to be fun to watch the playoffs, see how Conway ends up. But Grayson's got a chance to do just what he did in basketball. They won a state title in basketball. I got to see him play out at Elkins that night in basketball. That was the first round, I believe. First round or second round. I believe first round I saw him play out there and they won. He's pretty impressive. And I've seen him play baseball too. center field pitcher. The kid does it all. Now his basketball and baseball career is over because he's going to leave at midterm down at Conway. But this kid was a very good baseball and very good basketball player too. Just an all-around athlete. But Arkansas is getting it. What Bobby Petrino can do with him is going to be amazing. I think he can work wonders with him. And I'm looking forward to seeing Grayson develop here. Great family, just a good kid. And there were a lot of recruits there, probably about 50 in all, Jacob. And they, I'm going to try to reach out some more today and tomorrow. Well, I'll be out of town tomorrow, but today and then maybe Tuesday, this week, since it's a bye week, try to do a lot of recruiting. But we'll see how all this works out. But that win last night, I think one thing that's hurt Arkansas early on in recruiting was teams is using the deal that Sam Pittman was going to be fired. And they were using that against Arkansas. That's slowly going away. And that now he can go back to some of these kids that's committed elsewhere that was on the fence with Arkansas to begin with, Carius Carn and somebody, maybe LSU, and say, hey, I'm here. And we'll see if he can flip one or two of these kids committed elsewhere. I think they might. And I don't know if they can, but I'm sure they'll try. And, they're going to put that letter of intent in front of guys like Carius Carn and these other kids and give them a chance to sign with the Hogs, in December. Man, it's just so much more fun to talk about the Hogs when they win, because it's just, if they'd have lost, it was going to be a miserable 2 weeks. I'm not going to lie to you, Jacob. It's going to be griping and rumors of him being fired and stuff. And, this is a good football team, and I hope people slow down, relax, forget last year, it's water under the bridge, and it was a bad season, but this has a chance to be a good one. Why make yourself miserable about what happened last year? Enjoy this season, and take it for what it is, and take it one game at a time and enjoy it. It's not going to kill you to enjoy it. You can actually say, hey, this is not a bad football team, and not be miserable. It's not going to kill you.
Just quote that from you. It's not going to kill you to enjoy a good football team.
It's not going to kill you, man. And I'm not a hack reporter picking up 8-4. They nobody will come back and say, hey, you were right and I was wrong. That's fine. But I had a reason picking them 8-4. Mike Irwin said, asked Mike. I went by each game and described each game. And as I said at the time, nobody knows what the record's going to be. They may not win 8 games, but they may. Heck, I could see them winning 9, to be honest with you. I mean, if they beat everybody but Texas, they could be 9-3 instead of 8-4. So, or they could be 4-8 at the end of the season. Who knows? But I don't think this team's going to lose out, and I think they're going to win a lot more than they lose, and it's going to be fun. And I'm looking forward. But I'm just glad they won. Going to bye week, Sam, as I said earlier, I think I mentioned on this show, he's never lost coming out of a bye week. And they've got LSU, and Tennessee had a bye week though, and Arkansas. You would think Arkansas played a physical game against A&M. They played Auburn. Arkansas was missing. The tight ends were banged up. And Luke has played, but Jalen Braxton and other players were out. Rodney Hill, but it was good to see. Let me mention Rashad Dominion too, real quick, Jacob, because that's a kid that's kind of. He's gotten lost in the shuffle this year. Mm-hmm. He played. He was suspended for the A&M game, but he kept a good attitude. I saw him on X saying safe travels to the team. My brother's down in College Station, and didn't show any signs of pouting. And Sam let him back after 1 week. And Rashad got in there yesterday and helped him. He took kind of what Rodney Hill had been doing and took it and ran with it. And I was proud for Rashad, proud for all the guys, but it was good to see the Hogs find a way to win, and especially after they faced adversity, because you're not the only person when they were down 14-3 that was kind of thinking, I promise you weren't the only person. I was thinking the same thing, and I'm sure most people in the stands were thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I've never been more happy to be wrong, but I was my alarm bells were going off there. I was like, this might be it here, but it was a heck of a response, and you just hope now going into the bye week, it's a great time to go into the bye week, like you said, and I don't know why they wouldn't, but you hope they come out of the bye ready to go come LSU. Anything else you want to hit before we go, Otis?
Well, I just hope they get Jalen Braxton and Rodney Hill and get some of these. I hope they get some guys healthy during these 2 weeks. And I'd love to see Braxton get back. Not that Singletary and Robinson haven't been great, are very good, But no, I mean, that's mainly it. Just, I'm going to try to hit some recruits in the next couple of weeks. I'm actually speaking into Queen tomorrow at Rotary Club deal. So I'll be out of whack tomorrow. But the rest of the week, I'm going to try to concentrate on hitting some recruits and catch up on that. Man, I've been doing so much team stuff. I haven't had a chance to, but I'm going to try to get some recruiting stuff done this week and be fairness to our subscribers, our readers over on Hogville and Pig Trail Nation, because I haven't done as much recruiting as I'd like to. But, like I said, I can also cover the team. So I have pretty much a handful, but it was a good game, great coverage by our guys at Hogville. Pig Trail Nation had, the great pregame show that you have every week. So it's just everybody's feeling good right now, and that's a good way to be.
Yeah, good feeling to carry into
not feel bad, Jacob.
Yep. It's a good feeling to carry into the bye week. We'll see where it goes from there. That's going to do it for this week's Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. That's Otis Kirk. I'm Jacob Morris. We'll talk to you next week.